Okay, let's talk about the one thing you absolutely positively have to understand before you even think about buying a cryptocurrency. It's the thing almost everyone skips, and it's called tokenomics. And I'm telling you, by the end of this, you'll be able to look at any coin, whether it's Pi, Core, or some brand new project, and know right away if its internal wiring is designed to build value or if it's kind of set up to work against you from day one. So what even is it? Well, tokenomics is just what it sounds like. Token plus economics. The best way to think about it is like the ingredient label on your food. You could just grab whatever looks good off the shelf, or you could take 2 seconds, flip it over, and see what you're actually putting in your body. In crypto, most people never flip the package over.
Now, this might sound super complicated, but honestly, it all boils down to just 5 key things. We're talking supply, distribution, vesting, utility, and burns. If you can get a handle on these 5, you've basically got the blueprint for any crypto project out there. So let's walk through them one by one. First up, supply. This is the big one. The very first question you should ask about any coin is just, how many of these things are there going to be? Ever. Picture it like this. Think of seats in a giant stadium. Bitcoin? It has 21 million seats. That's it. Forever. No more will ever be added. Core DAO, on the other hand, has a much bigger stadium with 2.1 billion seats. And Pi Network? That's a mega stadium with 100 billion seats. Now, as a general rule, the fewer seats there are, the more valuable each one becomes over time, assuming, of course, that people actually want to get into the stadium. But here's where it gets a little tricky, and it's a detail that trips a lot of people up. The maximum supply isn't the same as the circulating supply. Circulating is what's out there being traded right now. That gap between the two, you can think of that as future selling pressure just waiting in the wings. Every single time new tokens get unlocked and hit the market, the price can take a hit if there isn't enough new demand to soak them all up. And to see this in action, just look at Pi Network. Get this, a staggering 90% of its total supply hasn't even hit the market yet. That's a massive, massive amount of potential supply that has to be accounted for down the road. And when you put the numbers side by side, you can really see the difference in philosophy. You've got Pi, with these huge unlocks still to come, versus Core DAO, which has a much slower, more gradual release that's scheduled to take place over the next 81 years. See, this isn't just about numbers. It's about 2 fundamentally different economic designs. One is built for massive, rapid distribution, and the other is built for long-term, slow and steady stability. Okay, so we know how many tokens there are. The next critical question is, who got them at the beginning? And this really matters because whoever holds big bags of a token has the power to move the price by selling. So if we look at Pi Network, you see that a huge slice, 65%, goes to community mining. But honestly, the most important detail on this chart is about the team's share. Their tokens unlock at the exact same rate as the community's. And that is a huge deal. It's a feature designed specifically to stop the team from cashing out before the community gets a fair shake. Core DAO also has a really community-first distribution model, rewarding the people who actually secure the network. And this brings up a really important point. Both of these projects put a huge chunk of their tokens into the hands of their users. That is a world away from so many other projects where early-stage venture capitalists are sitting on a massive piece of the supply, just waiting to dump. So, supply and distribution, that's kind of the risk side of the equation. Now, let's flip over and talk about the fun part, the upside. That's utility and burns. This is all about what drives demand. What can you actually do with the token? See, utility is what gives a token a real reason to exist beyond just pure speculation. For Pi, it's about being used for payments inside its ecosystem of apps. For Core, it's literally the gas that fuels every single transaction on its blockchain. The more people use the network, the more the token is needed. It's that simple. That's where real organic demand comes from. Now let's talk about reducing supply. Does the project actively get rid of tokens over time? Core DAO does. They have a formal burn mechanism where a bit of the transaction fees are just destroyed. Poof, gone. It creates what's called deflationary pressure. Pi Network takes a different, more nuanced approach. The team has actually said they don't want a formal burn program because their mission is global inclusion, and they don't want the coin to become so scarce that it's too expensive for new people to get involved. But, and this is a big but,
that does not mean Pi's supply isn't being reduced. The co-founder, Nicolas Kokkalis, confirmed that every single transaction fee on the Pi blockchain is burned. It's gone for good. Right now, that adds up to about 3,000 to 4,000 Pi being removed from circulation every single day. It's a passive system that's designed to scale up as more and more people use the ecosystem. Okay, so you have all the tools now. Let's wrap this all up into a simple 5-question checklist that you can use on any coin you're looking at. First thing, always ask, what is the absolute maximum supply? Is it a hard cap, like Bitcoin, which creates scarcity, or is it infinite, which means you're constantly fighting against inflation? Second, how much of that supply is actually circulating right now? If there's a huge gap between the circulating and the max, that's a big yellow flag for future sell pressure. Question 3, who's holding the tokens? Is it dominated by early investors who can sell off their stash really quickly, or is it spread out among the community? You always want to see a community-heavy distribution. Fourth, and this is crucial, what does the token actually do? Is there a real-world reason for people to buy and hold it other than just hoping the price chart goes up? Real utility creates real demand. And finally, number 5, does the project have a way to reduce its own supply? Things like token burns are like a tailwind for long-term holders, making every remaining token just a little bit more scarce over time. So when you actually read that ingredient label, you see 2 very different recipes. Pi is going for massive, global scale. It has a huge supply, and it's all about community distribution. For it to succeed, its ecosystem has to grow like crazy to absorb all those new tokens. Core, on the other hand, is built more like a digital commodity, kind of like Bitcoin, with a focus on scarcity and long-term stability. And look, neither one is automatically better. They're just 2 completely different economic models for 2 different goals. And now you have the framework to look under the hood of not just these 2, but any coin that comes across your desk. So I have to ask you, now that you know what to look for, what's the most surprising thing you just learned about a coin that you hold? Drop a comment below. I'm genuinely curious to know.